Welcome to another deep dive. Today,
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
yeah, we're going deep into a legal battle that's got everyone in the music industry talking.
It's a big one.
Huge. And we're examining some pretty serious accusations against some, really major players.
Yeah, we're talking
Diddy?
Diddy, Universal Music
Or
Group,
some Motown Records.
the whole shebang.
Yeah,
And it's important for everyone to remember, though,
of course.
everything we talk about today
Right.
comes straight from a court filing.
Straight from the source.
So what we're looking at are just allegations at this point.
Exactly. It's just one side of the story.
Right. So think of this deep dive
Yeah.
as your guide, like we always do,
Mm-hmm.
to understanding, like, what are the core claims of this case?
Yeah.
And what evidence is actually being presented?
Like, what are they basing this on?
Because trust me, you'll want to hear this.
Oh, yeah.
It goes way beyond your typical, like, contract dispute.
This is way more than just like, oh, he didn't pay me on time or whatever.
Shit gets really dark. It really does.
So to kick things off,
Yeah.
let's jump into what might be like the most jaw-dropping part of this whole case.
Okay.
A shooting at Chalice Recording Studios in Los Angeles.
Chalice Reporting Studios.
Yeah, so this allegedly happened back in September 2022
Okay.
during a writer's camp that Diddy was hosting.
Ah. So we're talking big names on
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's a who's who of the industry.
I see. Okay.
The complaint actually describes this whole altercation
Okay.
between Diddy, his son Justin Combs,
Okay.
and then this other person
Okay.
that they just refer to as G.
Just G. All right.
And this is where our plaintiff comes in,
Okay.
Rodney. Lil Rod Jones.
Lil Rod.
He's a music producer, and he says he was at the studio when this all went down.
Oh, wow. So he's like a primary source.
He's claiming he was not only a witness,
Uh-huh.
he says he even gave G first aid after the shooting happened.
Oh, wow. So he was right there in the thick of it.
Right in the thick of it.
Okay.
And here's where it gets, like, really interesting. Jones is alleging that Diddy told everyone at the studio to lie to the police
Wait, to lie about what happened.
about the whole thing.
It's like a full-blown cover-up.
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Wow.
The complaint states that Diddy told everyone to say that G got shot outside the studio, like in a drive-by.
Oh, so to make it look like...
Like it wasn't related to them at all.
I see.
Even though Jones claims the evidence, suggests something totally different happened.
Totally different. Okay.
He even put photos in the complaint
The hose.
that appear to show blood and bullet holes in the bathroom, which is where he says the shooting actually took place.
So these photos, like, contradict the story Diddy allegedly told everyone to tell the police.
Exactly.
That's huge.
But here's the thing, and this is going to sound kind of crazy.
Okay.
Jones isn't actually suing over the shooting.
Wait, what?
He is not.
Hold on. So if he's not suing over the shooting, then what is he suing over?
That's what makes this whole case so fascinating.
Okay, I'm hooked.
The shooting is just like this one piece
It's just one piece.
of a much larger and like much darker puzzle.
Oh, boy.
The lawsuit really focuses on a bunch of disturbing allegations, including claims of sexual assault.
Sexual assault.
Yeah, that's just the beginning.
So the shooting, it's almost like a backdrop to a much bigger and darker story.
Exactly right. And those photos of the bathroom scene
Mm-hmm.
could potentially be used as evidence to kind of bolster Jones's overall credibility.
So even if the shooting isn't the central issue.
Exactly. It's like setting the stage.
I see. Okay.
So let's dive into these sexual assault allegations.
All right, let's do it.
What exactly is Jones claiming happened?
So Jones alleges that he was constantly being subjected to unwanted sexual advances by Diddy.
Constantly.
That's what he's claiming.
Like, what do we mean? What kind of advances are we talking about?
Like groping and touching, things like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He describes these really uncomfortable situations,
Yeah.
like being forced to work near Diddy while he was naked.
He even claims he was made to watch Diddy shower.
That's right. It's a very specific detail.
It's a very specific detail.
And it makes you wonder why he felt it was so important to include it.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to build this picture
A picture of what?
of a hostile work environment
Okay.
and demonstrate like how much of a power imbalance there was between him and Diddy.
Like, Diddy thought he could get away with this stuff because of his status.
Yeah. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
That's a very plausible interpretation.
Right, because it's about how these actions made Jones feel.
Right, regardless of whatever Diddy's intent was.
Exactly. But Jones doesn't stop there.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
He describes another layer to this whole thing.
Okay.
He claims that when he told Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Korim, about his concerns.
About the harassment.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She not only downplayed everything,
Oh, no.
She suggested that, oh, this is just Diddy's way of showing affection.
Are you kidding? So not only was he allegedly being subjected to this behavior,
Yeah.
but he's also saying there was a culture of just completely dismissing it.
That's exactly what he seems to be implying.
Oh my gosh.
And it gets worse. He alleges that Coram was actually involved in what he calls, quote, grooming him.
Grooming? What, like to pressure him into a sexual relationship with Diddy?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, that's a serious accusation.
Oh, incredibly serious, and he's saying it was intentional.
That's what it seems like.
What evidence does he have for this?
So, as proof, he says that Diddy showed him this video of another music producer
Another music producer.
doing something very explicit, engaging in a homosexual act,
Okay.
allegedly, as a way to, normalize that kind of behavior for Jones.
Oh, wow. It's like he's saying Diddy was trying to influence him
Desensitize him.
to the idea. Yeah.
Right, and that specific allegation could be really significant
How so?
because it suggests that it was more calculated,
Calculate.
deliberate, like there was an intent to manipulate him.
So it's not just about what Diddy did. It's about why he allegedly did it.
Yep.
Ooh, this is getting complicated.
It is. So we have this whole alleged shooting incident.
Right.
Then we have these claims of sexual harassment. Now we have this whole element of grooming.
And where does it go from here?
Well, the allegations, sadly, don't stop there.
Oh, no.
The complaint details another really disturbing incident.
Okay.
This time it takes place at Diddy's house in Miami
Miami.
on Thanksgiving of 2022.
Thanksgiving. Wow.
Yeah, and this time it allegedly involves young Miami's cousin.
Hold on. We're going from a shooting in L.A. to Thanksgiving dinner in Miami.
This is just the beginning. You'll want to hear what happens next.
Okay, so Thanksgiving dinner in Miami, young Miami's cousin. This is where it gets really graphic.
Yeah, I mean, trigger warning for anyone listening. This is tough stuff.
Jones alleges that young Miami's cousin followed him into the bathroom and performed oral sex on him without his consent.
Oh my God, that's awful. And he's saying this all happened at Diddy's house with like other people around.
That's what the complaint says. And it gets worse. He alleges that later she tried to have sex with him in front of Diddy.
In front of Diddy.
And other guests.
What did Diddy do? Like, what was his reaction according to Jones?
It's not totally clear from the complaint, but the interesting thing is, Jones claims to have images from a video that back up his account of this Thanksgiving incident.
Oh, so there's potentially video evidence.
That's what he's saying.
If this video exists, that could be a game changer.
It could, but remember, we haven't even gone to the allegations of sex trafficking.
You're right. That's supposedly like the most serious claim in the whole case.
Okay, right.
Okay, so let's get into that. What exactly is Jones alleging when it comes to sex trafficking?
He's essentially saying that he was forced into this world of, like, sex workers and illicit activities against his will.
And he's tying this back to his work on Diddy's album, the Love album, Off the Grid.
Right. He's alleging that Diddy used his power and influence to basically coerce and manipulate him into finding sex workers for Diddy.
Hold on. What do you mean by finding, like he was forced to be a pimp?
That's a very simplified way of putting it, but essentially, yes, Jones is saying he was forced into this role where he was responsible for securing these encounters for Diddy.
God, that's just incredibly disturbing.
It is.
And the complaint even names this strip club Booby Trap on the River.
Right.
As a place where this was happening.
Jones says he was told to wear a bad boy hat as like a signal to the sex workers that he was there on Diddy's behalf.
Like a secret code. It's just so strange to think this could be happening so openly.
And it gets even more bizarre.
Oh, no.
Jones alleges that he was actually drugged during one of these encounters.
Drugged?
Yeah, he says he woke up naked and totally disoriented in bed with two sex workers and Diddy.
Whoa, this is heavy stuff. But how did Diddy keep Jones under his control for so long? What was stopping him from just walking away?
According to the complaint, it was a combination of promises and threats.
Ah, the classic carrot and stick.
Exactly. He would dangle things like career advancement, money, even a house in Miami in front of Jones to entice him.
Okay, so the carrot, but what kind of threats are we talking about here?
Jones claims Diddy would threaten him with violence, even going so far as to say he would eat his face.
Eat his face? That's terrifying, but was it just talk?
It's hard to say, but Jones also alleges that Diddy would brag about being able to make people disappear.
Like disappear for real.
Referencing his head of security as someone who could handle that sort of thing.
So basically using fear to get what he wanted.
That's what Jones is claiming. And remember, it's not just Diddy he's accusing. It's some big names in the music industry, too.
You mentioned this whole RICO Act thing before. I'm still a little fuzzy on what that means. Can you break it down for me?
Sure, the RICO Act, it stands for the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act.
Okay.
It's a federal law designed to go after organized crime.
So is Jones saying that Diddy's like some mafia boss?
Not exactly, but he is claiming that there's a pattern of illegal activity, racketeering basically,
Okay.
involving Diddy, Universal Music Group, Motown Records, and a bunch of other people.
So he's saying they're all in on it, profiting from this whole alleged network.
That's the gist of it, yeah. Jones is arguing that these music industry executives, they knew about and even took part in Diddy's alleged activities.
Like, what kind of activities are we talking about?
Including those parties we talked about with sex workers and potentially even underage girls.
Wow. So he's going after a whole system that allowed this to happen.
That's right. He's saying they look the other way because they were benefiting financially from their association with Diddy.
But what proof does he have? I mean, these are huge accusations.
He provides specific details about interactions he saw between Diddy and executives like Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group.
Wow, okay.
And Ethiopia Habtemariam, the former CEO of Motown Records.
So he's actually naming names.
Yes. He claims these executives spent hours alone with Diddy in his bedroom during late-night visits.
Oh, wow.
And that they were present at parties where illegal stuff was allegedly going down.
I mean, if even half of what Jones is alleging is true, this could have huge implications for the entire music industry.
Absolutely. It raises some serious questions about how much people knew and when they knew it.
And how much power Diddy actually had.
Exactly.
If Jones is successful with these RICO Act claims, it could open the door for other victims to come forward.
And potentially lead to a major reckoning for the whole industry.
This is a bold move.
It really is.
He's taking on the entire music establishment.
This is a case where the outcome could have a major impact on the culture of the music industry going forward.
You're absolutely right. So we've got this alleged shooting cover-up,
Right.
accusations of sexual assault, grooming, claims of forced participation in sex trafficking.
And now these RICO Act allegations that implicate some of the biggest names in the business.
I mean, it's hard to even grasp how much is going on here.
It really is. Each of these allegations is so serious on its own.
I think one thing that's really stood out to me is Jones's claim about being forced to lie to the police about the shooting at Chalice.
That's a big one.
Because it suggests an attempt to obstruct justice, to cover up a crime.
And remember, he says he has pictures of the bathroom where the shooting supposedly happened.
And those pictures contradict the story that was given to the police.
If those photos are real, it would be hard to deny that something fishy was going on.
But it all comes back to power. Diddy using his influence to control what people knew and said.
Exactly, silencing anyone who might challenge his version of events.
I mean, what does all of this mean for Diddy's career, his legacy?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Even if he never sees a day in court over this, the fact that these allegations are out there could have a huge impact on his reputation.
It's hard to say for sure what will happen, but it's definitely possible that this case will tarnish his image.
And make it difficult for him to maintain his current level of success.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that no one is above the law.
No matter how famous or powerful.
And regardless of what happens in the legal system, this case has already sparked a conversation that needed to happen.
About accountability and transparency in the music industry.
A conversation that's long overdue.
Hopefully it leads to real change.
Protects artists and creates a safer environment for everyone in the business.
It makes you wonder how many other people knew about what was going on and chose to look the other way.
That's a good question, and that's what makes this case so fascinating. How far up does this go?
Yeah, it really does make you think, like, how could this have gone on for so long?
Right, and it makes you wonder, is this just the tip of the iceberg? Like, how many other people are out there, other victims?
Who haven't come forward.
Exactly. I mean, it's got to be so hard.
To speak out against someone like Diddy.
Oh, especially in the music industry.
You risk everything, your career, your reputation.
You do, so for Jones to come forward like this.
It's incredibly brave.
It is. He's really putting it all on the line.
But by speaking out, maybe he can help create a space for others to feel safe to share their stories too.
That's the hope, right? That this can be a catalyst for change.
For real change, yeah.
Like creating a culture of transparency in the music industry.
Where people actually feel safe to report abuse.
Where their voices are heard.
And they're supported.
Exactly. And that goes for everyone, not just the artists.
Right. Producers, songwriters, assistants, everyone.
Everyone deserves to feel safe at work.
It's wild, though, because this case goes beyond just Diddy, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about one person.
It's about the whole system.
These RICO Act allegations suggest a much bigger problem.
It's a systemic issue, potentially.
Like a culture that protects abusers.
It enables this type of behavior.
And if Jones can prove these record labels, and executives knew what was going on,
And they benefited from it.
that could have massive repercussions.
It could force them to really examine their practices
Implement safeguards.
to prevent this from happening again.
And maybe shift the power dynamic a bit.
Give more power back to the artists.
It's about time, right?
It really is.
You know, one thing that's really stayed with me through all of this is that allegation about Jones being forced to lie to the police,
Yeah, that's a huge one.
about the shooting at Chalice. It just really shows you the lengths people might go to.
To protect themselves, to cover up a crime.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder what else has been swept under the rug over the years.
That's a disturbing thought.
And don't forget, Jones claims to have photos that contradict the story that was given to the police.
Right, photos of the bathroom where the shooting supposedly took place.
If those are real, that's a pretty strong piece of evidence.
It would be hard to dispute.
And again, it comes back to power.
Diddy, using his influence to control the narrative.
Silence anyone who might tell the truth.
It's a classic power move.
So what does this all mean for Diddy, for his career, his legacy?
It's hard to say for sure.
Even if none of this is proven in court,
The damage might already be done.
the allegations themselves could have a lasting impact on his reputation.
It's definitely possible.
It's a stark reminder
Of what?
that no one is above the law,
Yeah.
no matter how famous or powerful you are.
Actions have consequences.
And this case has already started a conversation
An important conversation.
about the need for real accountability in the music industry.
And for transparency.
That's something we need to keep talking about.
Absolutely. This conversation needs to continue.
So listeners, we want to hear from you.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on all of this?
What changes do you want to see in the music industry?
Let's keep this conversation going.
Yeah, share your thoughts in the comments.
Make your voices heard.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a heavy one.
It has, but an important one.
Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.
And stay safe out there, everyone.